File this next segment under some of the strange news stories that you may have missed this week. Here's a fun one. Well, not really fun. It's a bit weird, and I didn't realise they were still around. But anyway, iconic Australian store Sanity will close all of its remaining stores by the end of April. The company announced that all of its 50 stores, or remaining 50 stores, known for selling CDs and DVDs, will continue online. I had no idea that there were still Sanity stores around. Remember how big they were? We had a huge one in Miranda Fair here. Oh, Westfield Miranda. It was massive. I remember it was just a small store, then they expanded and it got huge. And going in and getting the latest singles, oh, those were the days. Now you just go to iTunes and press download, or Spotify and listen, or find out what's trending because what's trending on TikTok. Oh, glory days. Anyway, let's not live in the past. Let's check out what other strange news hit the media this week. Forecasts from the federal government show that Melbourne is set to overtake Sydney as the largest city in Australia by 500,000 people in 2033. More than 30,000 people are expected to leave Sydney in 2032 alone. Why? It's Melbourne. I love Melbourne. Culturally, it's a great place. But damn, it's cold. And their politics is strange. Prince Harry, oh, good old Prince Harry the Spare. Oh, he's dropped another bombshell this week by claiming that his brother, Prince William, violently assaulted him during a wild fight over Meghan Markle. The shocking accusation against the Prince of Wales, the heir to the throne, was made in a sensational chapter of Prince Harry's upcoming biography, a book I will not be getting unless it's salacious and I can read it and poke fun of it here on the show. According to The Guardian, Prince Harry alleges Prince William grabbed him by the collar, ripping his necklace, and knocked him to the floor, leaving him with visible marks on his back. Potentially that did happen. You know, brothers fight. We've all been there. But I don't know. You look at Prince William, and he kind of looks like the kind of guy that couldn't hurt a fly, let alone grab someone's collar, rip at the necklace, and knock them on the floor. Harry looks stronger. You know, if I was to put money, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, if I was to put money on Wills and Haz having a bit old a fisticuff, I'd put my money on Haz to win. He's got the gravitas, in my opinion. Anyway, the brothers reportedly fought at Nottingham College in Kensington Palace when they met to discuss their spiraling relationship. And clearly it continued to spiral because they had a fight. Also, a former Colorado funeral home owner was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison on Tuesday this week for defrauding relatives of the dead by dissecting 560 corpses and selling their body parts without permission. What? I guess they weren't open casket funerals. The lady's name is Megan Hess. She's 46, and she pleaded guilty to fraud in July, where, and I'm just going to throw the word allegedly here, just to be safe legally. She operated a funeral home called Sunset Mesa, and the body parts were sold to donor services from the same building. The 20-year term that she received for her crime was the maximum allowed under the law. Could you imagine? I guess anyone will try anything to make a few extra bucks. Also in weird, wacky, wonderful news from the week, a dairy plant caught fire in central Wisconsin on Monday night, sending the melted contents of a storage room full of butter flowing through the building as it went up in flames. I guess, you know, that's what happens when you melt butter or add fire to butter. Local authorities say that the runoff speeded, S-P-E-E-P-E-D, seeped. God, words. It's almost the end of the show. into surrounding storm drains, as well as a large canal adjacent to the business, which ultimately clogged the waterways despite crews' efforts to contain the spread. This is all according to a report by the CBS Chicago. Obvious that would happen because, when it heats, it melts, and when it cools, gets near water, it's going to harden up again. I guess this should really be some sort of life metaphor for eating butter and our arteries and stuff like that. Anyway, moving on. Denmark has recorded its first year without bank robberies as the use of cash has dwindled in recent years, the country's finance workers union said. The increasingly cashless society has led banks to reduce their cash services, the union said on Monday, leaving little potential loot for robbers. Here's a quote, we'll read it. It's nothing short of amazing because every time it happens, it's an extreme strain on the employees involved. Of course it is. That was said by Steen Lund Olsen, the vice president of the union. I'm going to have trouble saying this. Innanforbundet? Meh. Probably butchered that. Moving on to our final story in the weird, wacky, wonderful news from the week that you may have missed. Lake Superior State University in the US has chosen 10 words it found were the most misused, overused, and useless in 2022 and has forbidden people from using them at all for the next 12 months. Now, ever since 1976, this Lake Superior State University has compiled its choice of words that are to be banned for the entire coming year. This year's banned words, and I love this. We might apply this to the Troy Murphy Show. Topping the list was GOAT, which is the acronym for greatest of all time. I had no idea what this meant, and I was booked to do a gig, and it was called the GOAT Awards. And I did the whole thing with GOAT sound effects and GOAT jokes, thinking it was GOAT Awards. The company that booked me to do it, after I sent the videos and spent hours and hours of filming, editing, performing, all that sort of stuff, kind of sent me a message saying, you missed what GOAT means. It means greatest of all time. But luckily, it was funny, so they kept it so I didn't have to refilm it. Anyway, the other words include inflection point, don't use it. Gaslighting, sometimes use it. Quiet quitting, oh God, I hate that term. It's one of those business buzzwords. The reason why I can't work corporate anymore, because I'm sick of all that rubbish that's injected into the business world. Another word that is banned for the next year, moving forward. Good, I don't like that one. Amazing. Oh, no, I love the word amazing. It's great. Another word being banned is absolutely. Tend to use that. Does that make sense? Has been banned for the next 12 months. One of my friends uses that. It's a classic NLP thing, that you use on someone when you want them to understand what you're saying. Does that make sense? It's very patronizing, and I hate when my friend does it to me, and I call him out for doing it all the time because we both know NLP, and I know he's being patronizing, but it's also just become part of his vocab that it just happens for him, but it is very demeaning. Irregardless has been banned. Whether you use this list as banned words is irregardless. Oh, I've already used one. And it is what it is has been banned. They're the words that have been banned this year, according to the Lake Superior State University in the US, as part of this week's stories, strange news stories that you may have missed. Maybe we need, instead of a tip jar, a words that can't be used jar. So anytime I use any of these words this year, you can call me out and I'm going to put money in the tip jar, and maybe at the end of the year, whatever's left over, I'll use to, create a giveaway. Something strange and wonderful.
The Troy Murphy Show.